Some summers come with a soundtrack. Ours came with a dress, an axe, and a headline that no one wanted to read. To open, a 12-year-old banned from school for wearing a Union Jack dress on Culture Celebration Day. And summer's closing act, another 12-year-old, this time in Dundee, filmed holding an axe. A town punished and taken to court for asking the government to protect its children. This wasn't a holiday, it was a warning. Because this isn't just chaos, it's choreography. Britain's authorities aren't protecting children anymore, and class is back in session. This summer didn't just happen, it exposed us. Because in modern Britain, childhood isn't protected, it's gambled with, it's politicised. National pride isn't celebrated. When pushed forward, it's punished. And if you ask to feel safe in your own country, you're ignored, silenced, or demonised. So let me be clear, this isn't about a dress or an axe. These girls, they're not clickbait. They're symptoms, they're symbols. This summer didn't feel like a break. It just felt like a trailer. A preview to the kind of country that we're becoming, where childhood isn't protected, it's politicised. Because when things go wrong for children, it becomes political gameplay. And with schools going back this week, I just wanted to pause and take a breath and ask us all, where are we? Are we still proud as a nation? Are we safe? And are we still united? Let's start with Courtney. She turned up in that Union Jack dress like she was about to reopen the Olympics, and honestly, I loved it. She shows up to school for Cultural Celebration Day, ready to give a speech about castles and cups of tea and why she loves her country. Total Ginger Spice meets school assembly realness. And what does she get? Well, that's apparently too much British pride, which is code for keep it down. It's not your kind of culture we're celebrating. Seriously, it's a dress, not a declaration of war. And here's the deeper problem. Britain doesn't have a national dress in the way that other countries do. We've just got vibes, we've got weather, we've got sarcasm, but actual cultural attire, appropriating our flag as clothing, which honestly just says a lot about where we are. When your national dress is a pop culture moment, you're already halfway to apologising for your own existence. And then there's Dundee, a 12-year-old girl with an axe on camera. Now, I don't care if the story was blown out of proportion. Say it was exaggerated. Say it wasn't what it looked like. Do you know what's still true? Why is any child carrying a weapon? And why does that even feel plausible? Axe Girl didn't feel like a wild outlier. It felt like confirmation that no one in charge is watching the day to day, that community safety is now DIY, that every child knows the new rule. You're on your own, babe. Bring your own protection. Because nothing says back to school like becoming a meme for the decline of Western civilization. But if you want the ultimate lesson in look, you're on your own, go to the Epping Bell Hotel, a community begging for help after repeated incidents involving migrants housed in a hotel, including an alleged sexual assault on a child. What did they ask for? Safety. What did they get? A lawsuit. The Home Office took them to court because apparently the rights of illegal migrants now override the rights, needs, and fears of the people who live there. Labour backed the hotel. The Home Office sided against the town. The court overturned the residents' previous win, and the message was loud and clear. You are not our priority. Look after yourselves. We're not coming. It wasn't just a loss, it was a betrayal by the very people meant to protect them. And honestly, at this point, I might just hop over to the channel and apply for asylum in my own country. Some people said that the girl in Dundee was defending her sister. And honestly, that wouldn't surprise me. Because all of these stories, the flag, the axe, the town that asked for help, have something in common. They weren't just moments of chaos, they were moments of defense, of someone trying to look out for someone else, to protect what matters. And yet, that instinct to care, to step in, to speak up, has been met with suspicion, mocked, shut down. Whether it's pride in your country or concern for a child, this culture that's been put forward sees protectiveness at, well, sadly at times lies, and at other times it's flag shagger, it's racist, it's a conspiracy theorist, it's a reactionary. There's an accusation for every concern we're not permitted to voice or air. And maybe that's why this summer hit so hard. Because for the first time in a long time, it felt that the British people were saying, no, I am beyond concerned, but I am proud of my country. And you can no longer tell me that's wrong. Because based on previous experiences, I have a right to be worried. And maybe it's time we say this out loud, but to be a citizen and hold real love of a country is to respect it, to honour its laws, to protect its people, and to add to its legacy. To break the law, if you enter illegally, murder, rape, abuse, you don't love this country. That's to be acting against it and its people. And it doesn't matter what passport you carry, because to be a citizen means more than residency. It means shared values, shared connection, shared care for the culture, not contempt for it. But I'm going to be frank, I don't dress the way I used to. I don't go out the way I used to. Our worlds are getting smaller. The internet has widened our horizons on some things, but made us all a lot more vulnerable on other things. Our personal boundaries are harder because our national borders have become softer. I miss the confidence that I felt for the future, and honestly, I miss when the bravest thing that a child did was read a poem at assembly, not go viral for being a political symbol. And isn't it funny, or maybe it's just predictable now, that it's always working class children who get made into warning bells? It's never the children of politicians. It's always the children from forgotten, overlooked towns or social housing estates, the places where someone visits when something's gone wrong. And when the warnings are ringing loud enough to echo, that's when the media finally shows up. Because when you're invisible, you're not protected. When nobody in power knows your name, it's easy for criminals to use you and the world to see you as a symbol instead of protecting you as a child. But I wonder if you see the pattern. Courtney's dress, Dundee's axe, Epping's betrayal. These aren't just headlines. They're symbols of what's going on behind the cover story. The realization, without being told, that something in the country that you love has changed. In Epping, it wasn't just about housing or headlines. It was about another child becoming another casualty, which they will carry with them forever. We say children of the future, but more and more they're being pushed into the front line of our failures. A girl in a flag dress turned into a controversy. A girl with an axe turned into a meme. A child in Epping turned into another statistic. That's the pattern, and it's unbearable. Because this is about responsibility, about what happens when governments stop showing up, when communities stop being treated like families and start being treated like PR disasters to manage. It's not just about bad policies, it's about what happens when no one wants to hear the truth. Because if our leaders actually cared about the people that they supposedly represent, they'd stop demonizing the ones who speak up and start listening. They'd stop waving the flag around like it's a defense mechanism to prove that they have some emotional connection to this country and start investing in the people it's supposed to represent. Instead, they'll witch hunt someone for a dodgy tweet from 2009 faster than they can call out the real abuse. They'll send a diversity consultant and a camera crew before they send actual help. But suddenly when it's their own political history, suddenly it's a we need to respect differing views. But when it's you raising a red flag in your town, you're the vandal and you're brand of the problem. And honestly, I don't know how this gets resolved. Unless the people in charge start listening and acting for the good of the communities, we're just going to keep watching childhood erode one scandal at a time. Because the bitter truth is that neither of these girls should have been made icons. They should have been protected. Until the people in charge actually start paying attention, not with platitudes or press conferences, but with presence, with policies that don't just protect reputations, but protect children. Because we hear it every time. This must never happen again. And then it does. Another headline, another photo, another childhood lost to the news cycle. You can't put a child's innocence back once it's been shattered for public consumption. You can't tweet away a trauma. But people know that something's wrong. You can feel it. There's a hum in this country, a longing for safety, for pride, for the quiet comfort of belonging, a country that fought for our freedoms. Britain used to feel like that, familiar, solid, and kind, but now we name what's broken and we just leave it lying there unpatched. We scroll past stories like wreckage, and communities are told to hush rather than heal. But maybe it's not too late. And maybe the real hope is for a country that doesn't just talk about protecting its children, but actually does it. Where governments invest in futures, not just narratives. Where parents or carers are supported, not shamed. And where the police remember what they're meant to be, a safeguarder, not a threat. Now that sounds like home. What about you? Has your world shrunk too? Or like so many of us, you quietly realizing that if you want safety, you might just have to build and defend it yourself. But a future that once seemed possible is fading away. Do you long for a solid ground on which to stand, a future that's there for you and there's a sense that someone's got your back? Not a press conference, not a policy, a person, a people, a country that knows how to care. Either way, the bells have rung and class is back in session. As always, please let me know what you think and do think about giving this a like and maybe even a subscribe. Thanks.